Yeah. Yeah, it was called Super Show.
Well,
I saw their website. I didn't like actually look
give
up.
Brandie some time to hop on.
Todd said it was like, I think almost $50. What was that number?
Yeah, but we have a few others that said they were going to join, but,
One way.
Yeah, we can go ahead and get started in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, Uber was the other.
But it's going to be really laid back, just, a Q&A, and
Okay.
be good to hear from you and some words of wisdom that you have to share with us, and Brandie, if she can get back on. I'm excited. Are you unpacked?
Say it again.
Are you unpacked?
I am. I didn't get home till like 11 o'clock that night, so I didn't unpack till last night, but I hate for it to sit there.
Yeah.
I get it done as quick as I can, so.
I hear you.
There she is.
Hey, Brandie. I can see you.
Finally.
Yay!
Stupid computer.
I hear you. Well, thank you guys for coming on. We have quite a few working moms on our team, and they really wanted to know, how to juggle everything. They're really struggling right now. A few of them are struggling with how to juggle their full-time job and then come home and take care of the house and take care of the kids, and then also try to work in Beachbody. So I know that they've shared frustrations at different times, and really wanted to hear from others that do it, because they know that Renee and I, although we run the home front, we mainly do Beachbody. So we don't have something else that we're juggling as well, other than the family and the kids.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to do a Q&A, or do you want us to just start off kind of telling what we do, or?
Yeah, if you want to start just by sharing a little bit about yourself, and then we can open up a Q&A from there.
Absolutely. I'm Melody Williams. I'm a 2-star diamond coach on Team Fit Revival. I am an optometrist, so I've been an optometrist for the past 10 years. I own my own practice. My husband's also self-employed. Hours a week outside. I have 2 daughters. They both play softball year-round. They're in pretty heavy softball, so it's quite a commitment in and of itself. So that's Brandie.
Okay. I'm Brandie. I'm on Team Fit Revival too. I'm a diamond. Just a diamond. No, I'm just kidding. And I'm a nurse practitioner, and I work full-time. And I have 4 daughters who all play softball pretty heavy. They do competitive softball, and then they do basketball and track and all that stuff. So we're pretty busy and run everywhere. So my husband teaches, and so he works full time. So that's the scoop.
So how do you ladies do it without feeling like you're going crazy? Like, how do you feel, how do you do it without stretching yourself thin and feeling like you just want to quit?
Well, as much as I can, I have a schedule. So I know what's coming when. So obviously my patients are scheduled. I know what time I'm going to be seeing patients. I get up every morning, 2.5 hours probably before I have to be at work, sometimes a little more than that, to do my workout and get my kids ready for school, and which they're old enough now that they mostly can get themselves ready, but I have to get them out the door and, make sure all the bags are there and all that stuff. And with my schedule at work, sometimes I'm ahead of schedule. I don't waste my time. So if I'm running ahead of schedule with patients, or if I have a no-show on a patient, that's 15 or 20 minutes. I sit down and I knock something out. I don't go up, talk with my staff or, just kind of waste time. I try to take advantage of the time that I have. And then I usually know that I'm going to be getting in probably an hour after work. I'll be doing, but I don't always sit down and do mine all in an hour, all at once. I totally do the pocket thing. So 15, 20 minutes here or there, but a total of an hour to hour and a half is all I really need to get everything done that I need to get done. There are exceptions, of course, on nights we have calls and things like that. But I do not watch TV. I don't have time for TV. I used to watch, I was never a heavy television watcher, but it is gone now. It's a very rare thing for me to sit down and watch television. If I have to take my kids, if I'm on duty taking my kids to practice, I have my stuff with me. I just take advantage of the time that I have and be sure that I'm not wasting time. So the time is there. I mean, if you really look at your day and the things that you're doing, it would really shock me if you could.
Well, once you guys even
90, you could
weather advisory
that were focused that stuff done.
So I would say the same thing. I do power pockets. So like I do not work out in the morning. I am a late night worker outer. Like I'll still work out tonight after you guys, because I'm still in work clothes. I just got home from clinic. So I saw like 42 patients today. So I'm never running ahead of schedule. I'm always behind. But in the morning, so I'll check in with my groups in the mornings. I'll just give like a short rundown of kind of how a day would look and how I fit in those times. So I check in with my groups in the morning, and then during my lunch hour, if I get a lunch hour, I do follow-ups and invites and do connections. So that's an hour that I'm like munching food. I don't eat out anymore. So I always bring my lunch. So it's real easy to kind of sit, and I shut my door and my staff doesn't bother me during that time frame. So my lunch hours are kind of mine. And like Mel said, I don't hang out with the staff during lunch hour, just because that's when I get a lot of stuff done during that hour. And then if I do have a no-show, then I do fit some stuff in, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. And then in the afternoons when I get home, so if I have practice duty, which I have 4 kids, so they all go different places. So I have somebody's practice duty. Like during practice, I'll do, follow-ups. I always have my iPad with me. I always have my phone with me. And so I'll do connections and stuff during that time frame. But mostly it's like short little bits. Like I'm way too unfocused to sit for an hour and do power hours. Even a power half hour is too long for me to sit and be able to do stuff. So it's real hard to kind of get stuck on Facebook and get sucked into like doing connections. So I do set a timer for myself, and, like that 30 minutes to kind of scroll through and, hey girls and all that stuff. When that 30 minutes is up, I get off of it, and I can't be, sucked into that. It gets real, like in the beginning, I felt like I would spend hours at a time just kind of scrolling through Facebook, and it's not business building activities. It doesn't provide benefit to your business to do that. And then I kind of wrote down some shortcuts that I use that has been helpful. I use Buffer for my groups. So I buffer on Sundays and buffer for the whole week. In my free groups and everything, I buffer all my posts. I buy curriculum. So like when I'm getting sick of curriculum that I'm using for groups, there's stuff on Etsy, all kinds of stuff on Etsy. And so it doesn't benefit my time. Like it's $35 for like a free group for this crock pot group that I just bought. It doesn't benefit my time to spend 4 hours trying to put together a crock pot group when I can pay $35 and somebody's done all the work for me. And then I can just personalize it to fit. So I think that's a good benefit of kind of looking at time versus money of, does it benefit me to spend 2 hours on this, or can I pay $30 and knock that out and have my 2 hours to do the things that somebody else can't do for me, my follow-ups, my, all the personal things that, I can't pay someone to do. And my PD, I do podcasts. I know Mel does this too. We listen to podcasts in our car as we're going to and from, and I listen to my calls that way. And then it may not be like necessarily 10 minutes every day, but I might sit down with a book for an hour on Saturday and knock out, a whole bunch of PD at one time. Because I get caught up in a chapter and I'm like, I can't stop. So I don't do 10 minutes every day. I do in one section for, like the weekend, and read a couple of chapters at a time.
As far as the PD for me, I only listen to PD in the car. So I have a 30-minute commute to and from work. So an hour total in the day. And I don't listen to the radio. I listen to a call, or I listen to a book, or I listen to a podcast always. I rarely do my PD reading because I just knock that out when I would have time. I couldn't be doing anything else anyway. So absolutely do the podcast and audio PD. So I concur.
For groups, so I have another coach that I sometimes do my groups with, and then so we kind of tag team a group together, especially like in a busy month, or if I have a lot going on at work and she doesn't, we'll share the group. And so I usually buffer. She has buffer too, but I'll buffer the group, and then she helps interact inside the group. So like if I'm going to be at a conference or something, it's easy for her to kind of, and she doesn't work, but easy for her to kind of get in the group. So maybe think about sharing groups with another coach, and so you guys can tag team it if you're having trouble, if you're working full-time and having trouble finding that time, maybe tag team with another full-time lady and see if you can combo those together.
I have a question.
Yes.
So for what is your bedtime? Do you usually have a certain time you always go to bed and then you always wake up, or do sometimes you lose sleep because you have messages in your inbox you have to respond to, or how does that kind of look if there's any way or routine with that?
Melanie is really different. Go, Mel.
I like my sleep. So I've tried to do my best to get everything done, and I'm usually in bed by 9. I like to go to bed. So there are some times when I'm doing follow-ups and it's just not possible, but most nights I'm in bed by 9. I get up at 5:50 and I'm in bed by 9.
I get up at 6:30 and I go to bed around midnight every day. I mean, that's just how long it takes me to get not just that, but family and laundry. And, my house is a hot mess. I mean, if you looked at any of my stuff, I have a laundry pile that's a neck high, and I'm okay with that. I mean, right now it sucks because you're trying to build, but you kind of have to look for the long-term goal. And is it okay for my dishes to be in the sink and have laundry? If at some point during that time I'm going to be able to spend more time at home. My goal is not to stop working. My goal is to just work less. I love my job and I want to keep doing what I'm doing. I just want to have that availability to spend with my kids. So sometimes it sucks and I'm up till midnight and I have to get up early, but then I just have to look at what the long-term benefit of that is. And, you have to it's just like studying and going to college. I mean, you study really late and you're up and you're writing papers to, get your degree, then it pays off because now that job is easy for me and that job's not hard. So I think of it as that way. It's just kind of cramming and studying and getting it done, and then I'll reap the benefits of it later. Does that make sense?
That's awesome. Yeah, that definitely is a good analogy for that. I never thought of it like that.
So I have a question. Melody, you were saying that you kind of work off of a schedule. I don't know if you were just talking more about your day job or not, but if you were talking about Beachbody, can you kind of share, I know probably varies week to week or day to day, but do you have some sort of schedule you try to kind of stick to for your Beachbody stuff?
I mostly was talking about my day job, if you will. Mm-hmm. I mean, besides the pockets of 15 minutes, I've got my schedule for the day that I need to do, my invites and my connections, and I've got that in front of me. So I check them off. So yes, I'm following a checklist, but it's not like I have at 6 o'clock, I'm going to do 3 invites. I'm not that regimented, not at all.
Could you share with us kind of what your checklist looks like?
I actually use Teamsy. Are any of you familiar with Teamsy? Not to go off onto a tangent, but organization is not my strong suit, not at all. In fact, it's a horrible weakness. And I found Teamsy, and it's on the computer, and it pops up for me. Basically, you reverse engineer your goal, and they tell you, I need to make 4 connections today, and I don't get that little green light until I've done it. And I need to make this many invites, and it can be invites to anything, a free group or your challenge group or a coach webinar or whatever, any kind of invite. And so it's all laid out for me in software that is specifically designed for Beachbody coaches. So, and it's just your power of threes is really all it is. And personal development, Shakeology, of course, and workouts. You click that off too. And it says 100% at the end of the day when I'm done. So I don't know if any of you guys are competitive. Not really competitive, maybe is the right word, but if I have something in front of me that it says I'm not finished yet, you know, I have to check those lists. It's easier for me to get it done than just to kind of have it in my head knowing I need to get it done. So, but I think Brandie would agree, we don't do anything more or special than just what you hear on every single call. We just have to kind of sometimes get creative on how we fit it into our day.
And I'll even set like as a week goal, like Tuesdays are my late clinic. So I don't get out until like 7 on Tuesdays. So I work like an 11-hour in clinic. So I don't really do a ton of stuff on Tuesdays, but Wednesdays I get off early, and Fridays I only work a half day. So, you know, I may do more invites and stuff on a Friday and on a Saturday than what I do on a Tuesday. So I think I kind of look at it as a week goal versus as a day goal. And it's worked for me to do it that way.
I think that's something I need to start doing, because for a while I was trying to do, you know, everything every day. And between, you know, working 40 to 50 hours a week, I have almost 4 and 5-year-old little boys, you know, don't want to neglect the hubby either. It was like, you know, as much as, you know, I want to continue the Beachbody thing, but it's some days it's hard to try to get everything in. So yeah, I think I like that idea of trying to look at it as weeks. Some, you know, some things still have to be done every day, but some things can be more weekly goals.
Yeah. Megan, there are no rules. So
right.
You just figure out if Saturdays, if you have, which I know sometimes especially with littles, there is no such thing necessarily as free time. But if your husband's home on weekends and he's not, you know, necessarily in the week or whatever, and you can just like agree that you're going to take these 2 hours on Saturdays and knock all this stuff out, and you can do that focused, and you can just do, you know, even if that's all you do, if you get your whole week stuff done in that on a Saturday, then hey, it doesn't. Yeah. I mean, your follow-ups, I mean, you don't want to leave people hanging for a week on follow-ups. Right. But other things, like knocking out, you know, massive invites on one day, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I've kind of started going in that direction. And then I actually did team up with another girl, Angie. She really wanted to be on the call tonight because she works full-time too. So her and I have been tackling a group together, and that's really been helping. Like, and we use Hootsuite. We don't use Buffer, but yeah, we'll schedule out for the week. And that's huge. Then we can just kind of be like a challenger in our group the rest of the week. So, but I really like how you guys kind of talk about like your power pockets. I do that kind of, but I think I could be a little more organized and productive probably about how I do use those power pockets. And I really don't take a lunch break at work. It's just kind of the nature of where I'm at. But if I snuck away for even 20 minutes at lunchtime away from my desk, I probably could get a lot done in just that little chunk of time.
Yeah, I would suggest that if you're thinking about trying that, have a plan. You know, what I mean? Know that you may not know when it's going to come, but you know that, okay, if I look up and all of a sudden I realize I'm going to have 15 minutes here, already know what you're going to do in that 15 minutes. Don't wait until it happens to be like, okay, what should I do to take advantage of this? Because then you're time, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So literally, like right now at work, twice a day, I work. I'm in a big building on the 4th floor. Twice a day, in the morning and afternoon, when I go to the bathroom, I detour and walk down to the 1st floor just so I can be doing messaging. Just to get away. What's that?
I literally followed up with someone while I was peeing today.
Yep. Oh yeah, I've done that so many times. That's awesome.
So I have a question for you ladies. Being that you work full time, you're away from your kids and your husband during the day while you're working. Do you feel guilty coming home and having to do any Beachbody stuff, like getting on the calls and doing the meetings and the trainings and having to leave your kids when you're already working?
Sometimes, I mean, I can't say I don't have strong mom guilt. My kids' schedules are sometimes as crazy as mine. So, like, I'm not joking. Both of them have practice 3 times a week. And they're different age groups, so different practices. And so a lot of the times I'm not at work and I'm technically with them, but they're doing they're doing something else anyway. So, and I know if you've got really littles that's not the case. So it's different when your kids get older and they're, doing their own thing and have their own schedules. But, and my kids will lay I do a lot of stuff just in my room. I'm not necessarily at a desk, and my kiddos, they lay right there with me. So
my kids are older, so they actually help me. So like even for this, to make notes for this call today, I called home and they made notes for me while I, organize my brain. So like I have 14-year-olds and 12-year-olds and 11-year-olds. So I know it's not like having a 5-year-old, but I'll literally hand the phone to my 12-year-old and she'll read the follow-ups and she'll text and type the follow-ups that I'm saying exactly here. And we do this in commuting to practice and stuff. So it's just like getting creative with.
That's awesome. You have a personal assistant. I'm jealous.
Totally.
I'm kind of jealous. I'm listening about these sports things. I'm like, maybe I need to get my kid in more sports because if they're practicing for a half hour or an hour, then I can sit and work for a half hour. Might be a good trade-off. No, my husband laughs at me because he's really into snowmobiling, and I'm in Colorado, and he's been snowmobiling a lot the last few weekends, and I'm like, oh, I'll just stay home with the kids. And really, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have some peace and quiet. I'm going to get some stuff done. I'm going to.
Yes.
Along the same lines, what does your weekend look like? Do you spend more time on Beachbody then? Do you kind of still keep it to just follow-ups and, some outs here and there, or is that more of a focused time for you all? Because maybe, you're not working, let's say, or on your days off.
Weekend, I don't do as much on weekends. I'm lucky in that I find enough time during the week that I don't have to. I try to do all my invites during the week. Now, I will say that I'm not one who turns off on the weekend. So if I get someone emailing me or asking me questions or, I respond and do all my follow-ups the day of. So if somebody sends me an email, I will respond to the email that day, unless it's just a really weird circumstance, whether it's a weekend or not. I probably spend an hour maybe on a Saturday. So most of the time I'm not sitting down and doing focused Beachbody stuff on the weekend. I would if I had to, but I don't have to. So
I probably spend 2 or 3 hours on a Saturday, during basketball season, but during softball season, I don't have the time because we're there all day, but I do the work in the car in between games. And, I hotspot everything and you take my iPad with me everywhere. So I spend a lot more time on weekends because my weeks are my weekdays seem really busy. So It's not for me to spend a couple of hours on a Sunday evening, 2-3 hours after I meal plan my own stuff and get everything cooked. Then I'll come in here and that's my time to buffer. Late Sunday evenings is my time to buffer and spend a couple of hours.
I do all my buffering on Sunday nights as well. But Sunday nights to me are just they're school nights. It's, we run them just like I run them Monday through Thursday nights. So I do all my buffering on Sunday nights and basically kind of plan my week with my lists of names and people I plan to reach out to that week. But yeah, I do have more downtime during the day than Brandie has. So my schedule is not nearly as wacky with many patients a day as she has.
I have another question. Do you guys feel, well, I mean, I guess everybody feels overwhelmed at some point, but the schedule that you have in place right now, do you feel like it is something that you can do long term? Or is this something that is, I mean, Brandie, I know you said you're hoping to work less, so that eventually will help. But I don't know, I'm just trying to see, with working on a regular basis and with having as many patients as you do, it's like you need some time to unplug at some point, right? Like, how do you find that balance to unplug, to just have time for you and just kind of forget everything, so to say, you know, for a little while and just recharge yourself? Because if you're not working your day job, it's like you're still working, you're doing, you know, your business. And if not that, you're with family. So it's like you're always doing something. I hope that makes sense.
It does. I mean, I do think it's really hard, and I do feel myself get kind of frazzled from burning both ends, especially, you know, if I go a couple of nights where I'm like up till midnight or 1 and I need to do some training and we had some calls and I wasn't productive over the weekend. I just don't do anything that day. I mean, like, I'm okay with unplugged. Like, when we get off here, I'm going to work out and I'm going to sit in the bathtub and chill out. I'm not going to do any follow-ups or anything tonight. So I think it's real hard. I mean, you need to recognize where your self-care limit is. And so what my self-care limit is different from what yours is and different from what Melody's is too. And then, you know, it's the same thing. Like, this is what I really struggled with in the beginning, is that I can't be as productive as maybe everybody who does this full time. And it's really easy to compare yourself. Like, it would be easy to compare yourself to Renee. She does this full time and say she does this many invites. I think you have to take practically, when you work full time, you have to take practically and realize what your goals are going to be. And my goal is not to be 5-star by the end of this year. You know what I mean? I'm looking to be 2-star. So I may not be setting my goals to go as fast as somebody who does this full time. And when I kind of came to that realization that I don't have to do everything as hard as everybody who's doing this full time is doing, it helped me not feel as burned out. Does that make sense? Like, to not put myself to the same standards that people are doing that do this full time do. Is that?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Can you both share how long you've been doing this, and then like how long it took before maybe some of your different rank advancements? Just kind of curious.
Well, I've technically been a coach for 4 years. I was a discount coach for 2 years. March of 2015 is when I kind of went all in. Okay. So, and then I hit Diamond in September of that year. I hit 1-star May of last year, May of 16, and I hit 2-star at the end of the year, 2016. So it's been 2 years of actually full out coaching and hit 2-star. So not as fast, you know, as some people.
I started coaching end of May or June, and I went Diamond in about 3 months, and then I'm just holding there. So I've been doing since June, but it helps that I've had a really big transformation too. So I've lost 70 pounds, and it's been a huge difference. So I think that was a big part of what helped me go faster, was that I had a huge transformation. Everybody's like, what the heck are you doing? So then that really helped. So I think it's different if you don't have a huge transformation. I could see where that would be difficult also.
Melody, I have another question for you. So I'm assuming maybe your downline is a little broader than Brandie's, since you're 2-star. It might be a bad assumption, but do you, you know, since you work full time in addition to this, do you run like weekly meetings for all your coaches and things like that, or do you kind of more lean on your upline to do things with them to, you know, keep your downline strong and your coaches strong and training there and everything for them?
For the big weekly calls, it's mostly we stick with TFR mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And now, of course, she's got all of us helping her run those calls, but I'm not responsible for one every week. My coaches who are established, like Brandie, I don't necessarily, we talk a lot, but my young new coaches, I have weekly calls scheduled with them. Once a week, we get on the phone one-on-one and we talk. One of those is one of my lunch hours. And the other one is during one of my kids' practices, and it happens to be during one of her kids' practices too. And then I've got one on Wednesday night. So I schedule those one-on-one calls, but they're just 15, 20-minute calls. I'm in contact with them more often than that, obviously, but like just to be on the phone with them. I'm in one-on-one stuff more right now.
I'm curious, Melody and Brandie, did you guys know each other before Beachbody? Like, were you friends, or how did your friendship come about?
Our kids play softball together.
Okay. Okay, so that leads me to my next question, I guess. I have a hard time. So I'm a nurse, but I don't know, I have a hard time talking to my fellow coworkers about it. And, it may sound stupid. I don't know what my problem is there, but that's another story. But I'm curious, like, Brandie, how do you talk to, like, do you try to target medical personnel, or do you, how do you, I guess, approach medical personnel?
Most of my coaches, even my discount coaches, I mean, a ton of my people are nurses. Did you say you're a nurse?
Yes.
Okay, piece of cake. So you approach them from the standpoint of it's no different than nursing. So what you're doing is health promotion, and what you're doing in the hospital is the exact same thing as what you do as a Beachbody coach. So I really kind of go from a medical side anyway. So it's health promotion, it's wellness, it's education, it's everything that you're already doing as a nurse, but make money doing it, and you can do it on the side, and you can do it on your own time. So, and then I kind of talked to them about, 12-hour shifts suck, night shift is terrible, no one's bossing you around, you're your own boss, you're not having to lift patients, you're not having to wipe fannies. I mean, it's a whole slew. It's an easy sell to nurses. For me, it has been.
For some reason, I don't find that here, at least. I don't know why.
What kind of nurse do you do?
I work in a surgical ICU.
Yeah.
But usually the people that I work with that's just a stepping stone for them to, they're going to school, they're advancing their careers. So I guess they're not interested from that point of view. It's just like, no, I got other plans kind of a deal.
So why not support yourself while you're going through college? Instead of having to work a shift, you can, take 10 minutes and work in a group and, pay for your books. If it's just a stepping stone, I get that. Like probably 4 years ago, I've been a nurse practitioner 4 years. Probably 4 years ago, I've been like snotty and said, no, I'm going to school to be a nurse practitioner. But then I realized the amount of hours that you spend, you're not asking people to stop doing their job. Just, still be a nurse, but do this on the side and be able to free up your time better instead of being stuck to 3 shifts a week and working
long hours. And
Edith, have you approached them as the challenger, as being a challenger, and not straight to coaching?
Correct. Yes. Okay. And I mean, they're like, yeah, let's do this. But then all the excuses of, I cannot get up, we work 12-hour days. I cannot get up and work beforehand. I'm too tired afterward. It's just not working. That's full of excuses. So it's almost like, I mean, it's like they don't want it, they don't really want it that bad. So
move on to something else.
Yeah. Thank you.
I was going to say too, because I also work in the medical field. And so my why is prevention. So I kind of take that approach with just to get challengers as far as, the diabetes and all the diseases that we see daily affecting our patients. But I still get resistance. They're very skeptical when I talk to them about just improving their own health. So I kind of steer clear of even talking about it at work because of the resistance and skepticism that I get there.
Well, I think the skepticism is everywhere. It's not just nurses or in the medical field, for sure. So regardless of what your job is, people at work, I mean, it's just human nature. I definitely don't quit talking about it. You don't have to be trying to sell it necessarily, but you show up, you be proof the product works, you be consistent, you be here a year from now, and they're going to want what you have. And it's not necessarily going to happen, in a week or in a month. But if you stay consistent and you are doing it and you're making it work, they're going to come back to you. No's are just not yet. And it's true. It sounds so cliche and we hear it all the time. But in the past 2 years, there's maybe a handful of people that I asked that told me no that have not since said yes. They come back and say yes. But if I had done it for 3 or 4 months and then quit posting about it, and I'm not a huge, I've done several this week, but I'm not really a big call to action poster. I just post about what I'm doing during my day. I post about my workout. They see me consistently doing it. And, eventually when they're ready to do something, you're who's going to come to their mind. So that would be how I would encourage you. Don't quit talking about it.
Okay.
But you're talking about it doesn't have to be trying to convince them. You're just saying what happens today. That's like the girls at my work today were talking about, and only one of them is my staff. Only one of them does Beachbody stuff. And she's talking about the flu going around the house and blah, 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 and, all this stuff because it's going around horribly. And I was like, thank you, Shakeology. I haven't been sick in 4 years. Not even a cold. I just say that. I'm not going to be quiet about it. But sorry, my light. So it's.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point you bring up, Melody. Because that's basically what I've just started doing. Just, you know what? We're friends on Facebook. You see me. I'm just going to let it speak for what it is.
Exactly.
And then take it from there.
And I'm saying, definitely invite them and ask them. But if they've told you no, they're not interested, that's totally okay. We're definitely not in the business of trying to convince people. But your story and your life, if you stay consistent in your journey, that will convince them.
Yep.
Does anybody else have any questions? This has been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Melody and Brandie.
You're welcome.
Brandie, do you use Teamsy or what do you use to stay organized?
Did we lose her?
Oh, I think she froze. Yeah. Okay.
There you are. Can you hear us?
Yeah, you're first.
I would answer for her if I knew the answer, but I don't. Brandie, can you hear us?
Now I can. What?
Okay.
What do you use to stay organized? Do you use Teamsy as well, or?
I tried Teamsy and it wasn't, with my phone enough. I used just a happy planner, I got it at Michael's. I give these away in my group. It's just called the Happy Planner. I'm a pencil and paper gal. How lame is that?
It's not lame.
No, I like pencil and paper too for that stuff.
I couldn't interface with my phone enough on Teamsy because I do stuff from my phone and from my iPad and from my laptop, and it's always in the car or somewhere. And it just didn't interface good for me.
That's good to hear how, different things work good for different people. You just try things out and find what works for you. That's the key.
Did anyone else have any questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome. I just want to encourage all you guys to not give up. I mean, it doesn't have to look a certain way, but if you'll just be persistent and consistent, you'll get there. You really will. Just don't give up.
Consistent. Just keep plugging away.
Couldn't agree more.
Thank you guys.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for your time.
Uh-huh.
We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.